Yerkey, a summer festival of cultural music competition, which is held every year to mark the founding anniversary of the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, is a much-awaited event for everybody who loves Tibetan cultural music and theaters. Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts has dedicated this year's Yerkey musical tribute to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and for the first time, the entire event was broadcast live through Tibettv TV. As the one and only biggest competition, a cultural competition that is being held in the Institute, all the artists in two competing groups put in all their time and energy in practicing the performances and in winning the trophy. In today's In Conversation with Tibet TV, I'm delighted to have with me the Artistic Director of the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, Samten Dhondup, and a Senior Artist, Kelsang. Samten, may I begin with you by asking what is the significance of Yarkyi? Why is Yarkyi different from any other events that is being held in Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts?
Well, we say Yarkyi. Yarkyi means in Tibetan, Yar means summer, Ki means we are enjoying or we have some festival or something, you know. So that's why we call Yarkyi. So while we talk about before 1959 in Tibet, there's a kind of festival that every summer there's a festival that people gathered and they have an enjoyment like that, because they used to work whole year and to have an within the your colleagues or something to have an interact. So it's very important that you had one kind of festival that has to be organized. So by that kind of a system, while we came to India, so the people thought that we should make a Yerkey in Tibetan performing arts.
As a continuation of what was there before in Tibet.
Yes, and at the same time, this as a tipa. I mean, every year we are learning the performance or the dancing, singing, music, and all these things now. So it's very important that in a year we should there should be some places where we gathered and share ideas or have an interact with the artists within the the instructor like that now. So at the same time, also very important to give a training to the the student. So this is a kind of a festival which we organize in India as an Yerkey, that during that period, I mean, the student can take their own responsibility to how to compose a song, how to make a new dances, how to make an to make a research on the Tibetan old performing arts. So this is a kind of idea. So that during the time of, because we came to India in 1959 and around 60s, then we started that festival. At the same time, it's a kind of a program that also to give a training to the young Tibetan artists. I mean, so this is kind of a festival that people considers very important. So that's why this year also actually there's a pandemic and all this going on, and at the same time we feel that it's important, it should be going on. So that's why we are having this festival today.
Yes, we're glad that amidst all this COVID concerns, we are still holding Yarkyi this year. Kelsang, you have been in the Institute for the last 13 years. Now you are a senior artist and you have participated in all the Yerkeys ever since. What does Yerkey mean to you?
Oh, well, Yerkey is generally known as a competition nature. We have a competition between two groups every year. Whoever wins get the trophy. So we take this as a very serious competition. And at the same time, I feel like not only the artists, but the whole Tibetan has equal responsibilities towards the cause. And I also feel like this is a little contribution to preserve my culture.
Right. That's a very good thought. Samten, all these years, for the last 61 years, Tibettv has been holding Yerkey, and all these years, every year when the Yarkyi is being held. It was held with the limited and selected group of audience. But this year, Tibettv has decided that they will broadcast this entire event live and make it public. What is the reason behind doing so?
No, as we all know, the 2020, I mean, it's a pandemic year for whole world, I mean. And at the same time, regarding the Tibettv, I mean, we, as I told you before, that the Yerkey itself is very important for the course of what called the part of a training to the student. So this year we have a meeting that whether we should organize this Yerkey or not. So we have a lot of what called the advice that we should do it. I mean, it's a part of what called the training to the students. So we also have in a meeting, you know, people used to say that without they won't be a public or anything, you know, but we should do that for the cause of a student. I mean, so that's why this year we made a decision that it should be shown to live to all over the world. I mean, who are interested for Tibetan what called the culture, performing arts, and so we made this decision.
Right. Kelsang, usually all artists before the Yerkey event begins, all artists go to places in and around India where Tibetans live. You guys go research, study Tibetan songs, folklores and theatricals, bring them here and then learn them for Yerkey competition, right? But this year there was the COVID-19 concerns. There were a lot of restrictions on travels and gatherings. You all obviously did not get to go to travel and meet people and then search for songs. And how did you manage this time?
So because of lockdown and COVID-19, we didn't get to go out and find songs from the Tibetan living in other places. But luckily, we got to know someone in our institute who has a very good knowledge about culture of his own region in Tibet. So we asked him to teach us, and that's how we manage. And other thing about practice, this time practice, we didn't have a problem of attendance with the artists because everyone has to stay indoor. And also we get more time to practice the competition because of Yerkey postponed this time.
You had the advantage and the disadvantage of the COVID-19 concerns. Gesamdila, so Yerkey as an event is considered very important in the Tibetan community. Could you tell us what kind of response you get from the younger generations of the Tibetan community?
I mean, while we talk about the exile situation, so regarding the preservation of Tibetan performing arts, so this is kind of a platform, very important, that a young generation can do their own research, they can compose their own song. It's a kind of a training. And then not only within the what called the Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, regarding the school of in exile, there's a lot of school, they used to watch, I mean, every year's Yerkeys, and they used to learn from that what called DVDs or something, you know. So we are able to not only the preservation but also to what called give an education to the younger generation to make them more interest. And so it's very important that we should create what called something that the young generation can watch more. Right. So not like we perform in Tibettv only, and then the younger generation they can't see anything. So we are what called trying to produce the performing arts CDs or DVDs or kind of a listening music like that, more product for the younger generation. So this is one kind of a not only the preservation but also promoting the performing arts to the Tibetan younger generation. So this is our goal. Yes, there's a good response. I mean, if there won't be a Yerkey kind of a competition, so we are not able to produce kind of a DVDs like that every year. So Yerkey is something like the people are waiting for every year, you know. So this year, what kind of new songs is coming from Tibettv like that, And also in every schools, there's like His Holiness birthday. There's a competition also in the schools. So within the schools, they're waiting for Tipa's Yerkey DVDs to come. So that this year we are going to learn that and this, So kind of that was. So this is a kind of a good response, not only in India, within the what called the America or Europe, like the way wherever there's a Tibetan, So everyone's waiting. The what called the yearly Yerkeys, what songs, the new songs is coming, and people are so interested. So this is a good thing.
Right, so they show their interest in it. They are waiting for Yarkyi music, new musics to come up, and they take inspiration from it. That's a good sign. Kelsang, my last question to you. So you have two competing groups, Gyalu and Ngumbaruka. So I have heard about the level of secrecy that you guys maintain in practicing the songs. Only when the final is there, you guys get to know the other group's songs and performances. How do you do that?
That's true. When we practice the song, as I told you before, all the artists in the two group take the competition very seriously at a level that we play a very loud music outside the practicing hall. Doesn't hear what we are practicing inside. And there was a time we come to know about the other song only during the final, but this time we had ideas about each other song because we couldn't play the loud music outside because of the lockdown.
This year, both the groups have some idea about what the other group is going to perform. All right. On that note, we're going to sum up in conversation with Tibet TV's this episode. I would like to thank you both, the Artistic Director of Tibetan Institute of Performing Arts, Samten, Dhondup, and our senior artist, Kelsang. Thank you for watching Tibet TV.